I took advantage of being at the seaside to lay in a store of sucking stones. They were pebbles, but I called them stones. Yes, on this occasion, I lay in a considerable store. I distributed them equally between my 4 pockets and sucked them turn and turn about. This raised a problem, which I first solved in the following way. I had, say, 16 stones, 4 in each of my 4 pockets, these being the 2 pockets of my trousers and the 2 pockets of my great coat. Taking a stone from the right pocket of my great coat and putting it in my mouth, I replaced it in the right pocket of my great coat by a stone from the right pocket of my trousers, which I replaced by a stone from the left pocket of my trousers, which I replaced by a stone from the left pocket of my great coat, which I replaced by the stone which was in my mouth as soon as I had finished sucking it. Thus, there were still 4 stones in each of my 4 pockets, but not quite the same 4. And when the desire to suck took hold of me again, I drew again from the right pocket of my great coat, certain of not taking the same stone as last time. And during the sucking, I rearranged the other stones in the way I have just described, and so on. But this solution did not satisfy me fully. For it did not escape me that by an extraordinary hazard, the 4 stones circulating thus might always be the same 4. In which case, far from sucking the 16 stones turn and turn about, I was really only sucking 4, always the same turn and turn about. But I shuffled them well in my pockets before I began to suck, and again while I sucked before transferring them in the hope of obtaining a more general circulation of the stones from pocket to pocket. But this was only a makeshift that could not long content a man like me. So I began to look for something else. And the first thing I hit upon was that I might do better to transfer the stones 4 by 4 instead of 1 by 1. That is to say, during the sucking, to take the 3 stones remaining in the right pocket of my greatcoat and replace them by the 4 in the right pocket of my trousers, and these by the 4 in the left pocket of my trousers, and these by the 4 in the left pocket of my greatcoat, and finally these by the 3 from the right pocket of my greatcoat, plus the 1 which was in my mouth as soon as I had finished sucking it. Yeah. It seemed to me at first that by so doing I would arrive at a better result. But on further reflection, I had to change my mind and confess that the circulation of the stones 4 by 4 came to exactly the same thing as their circulation 1 by 1. For if I was certain of finding each time in the right pocket of my greatcoat 4 stones totally different from their immediate predecessors, the possibility nevertheless remained of my always chancing on the same stone within each group of 4, and consequently of my sucking not the 16 turn and turn about as I wished, but in fact 4 only always the same turn and turn about. So I had to seek elsewhere than in the mode of circulation. For no matter how I caused the stones to circulate, I always ran the same risk. It was obvious that by increasing the number of pockets, I was bound to increase my chances of enjoying my stones in the way that I had planned, that is to say, one after the other until their number was exhausted. Had I 8 pockets, for example, instead of the 4 I did have, then even the most diabolical hazard could not have stopped me from enjoying at least 8 of my 16 stones, turn and turn about. The truth is, I should have needed 16 pockets in order to be quite easy in my mind. And for a long time, I could come to no other conclusion than this, that short of having 16 pockets, each with its own stone, I could never reach the goal I had set myself, short of an extraordinary hazard. And if at a pinch, I could double the number of my pockets, were it only dividing each pocket in 2 with the help of a few safety pins, let us say, to quadruple them seemed to be more than I could manage. And I did not feel inclined to take all that trouble for half measure. for I was beginning to lose all sense of measure after all this wrestling and wrangling, to say all or nothing. Finally, I seemed to grasp that it was the distribution of the 16 stones in 4 groups of 4, 1 group in each pocket, and my refusal to consider any distribution other than this that had vitiated my calculations until then and rendered the problem literally insoluble. And it was on the basis of this interpretation, whether right or wrong, that I finally reached a solution. Inelegant, assuredly, but sound. Sound. Now I am willing to believe. Indeed, I firmly believe that other solutions to this problem might still be found, and indeed may still be found. No less sound, but much more elegant than the one I shall now describe, if I can. I contented myself ingloriously with the first solution that was a solution to this problem, but not to go over the heartbreaking stages through which I passed before I came to it. Here it is in all its hideousness. All that was necessary was to put, for example, to begin with, 6 stones in the right pocket of my greatcoat, or supply pocket, 5 in the right pocket of my trousers, and 5 in the left pocket of my trousers. That makes the lot. Twice 5, 10, plus 6, 16, and none, for none remain, in the left pocket of my greatcoat, which for the time being remained empty. Good! Now I can begin to suck. Watch me closely. I take a stone from the right pocket of my greatcoat. I suck it. Stop sucking it. Put it in the left pocket of my greatcoat. I take a second stone from the right pocket of my greatcoat, suck it. Put it in the left pocket of my greatcoat, and so on, until one after the other, all are in the left pocket of my greatcoat. Pausing then and concentrating so as not to make a balls of it, I then transfer to the right pocket of my greatcoat, now empty of stones, the 5 stones from the right pocket of my trousers, which I replaced by the 5 stones from the left pocket of my trousers, which I replaced by the 6 stones in the left pocket of my greatcoat. At this stage, then, the left pocket of my greatcoat is again empty, while the right pocket of my greatcoat is again supplied, and in the right way. That is to say, with other stones than those I have just sucked. These other stones I then begin to suck. And to transfer as I go along, one after the other, to the left pocket of my greatcoat. And when the right pocket of my greatcoat is again empty of stones, and all of my 5 stones are, without exception, in the left pocket of my greatcoat, being absolutely certain, as far as one can be in an affair of this kind, that I'm not sucking the same stones as a moment before, I then proceed to the same redistribution as a moment before, or a similar redistribution, that is to say. I transfer to the right pocket of my greatcoat, now again available, the 5 stones from the right pocket of my trousers, which I replace by the 6 stones from the left pocket of my trousers, which I replace by the 5 stones from the left pocket of my greatcoat, and there I am, ready to begin again. Do I have to go on? No, for it is clear that after the next series of sucks and transfers, I shall be right back where I started, that is to say, with the first 6 stones back in the supply pocket, the next 5 in the right pocket of my stinking old trousers, the last 5 in the left pocket of same, and all my 16 stones will have been sucked once at least in impeccable succession. Not one sucked twice, not one left unsucked. But deep down, I didn't give a tinker's curse. For it was all the same to me whether I sucked a different stone each time or always the same stone until the end of time, for they all tasted exactly the same. And the solution to which I rallied in the end was to throw away all the stones, which I kept in one pocket, now in another, and which of course I soon lost, or gave away, or threw away, or swallowed.